Okay, I want to tell you about my very first trip to the Middle East, or in fact my very first trip abroad, really, apart from the Isle of Wight and the Isle of Skye, which I'd both been to with a truck. I set off to go to Istanbul for Dow Freight, and I did the preliminaries up at Stockport with them, and they gave me a trailer to take, and they said that they would give me instructions as to when and where to load. And so I was due to load in Peterborough at Perkins Engines on the following morning, and I can remember going to bed and thinking, oh goodness me, I've said I'll do this now, and I'd never actually been abroad at all, anywhere, on the continent, that is, with a truck. And I was thinking, oh, supposing if my lorry breaks down or whatever, what will I do, and all the rest of it. Anyway, I set off the next morning full of trepidation and made my way across to Peterborough to Perkins Engines. So I get to the factory, and made inquiries as where I should go to. I was picking up a load for Istanbul, and they sent me across to the export department, which wasn't quite ready for business at that particular point in time. But parked outside also was a dilapidated, as the best way I can describe it, Turkish Fiat articulated truck, and the driver was scrambling about underneath his trailer and came out with a tyre valve which was broken, and asked me had I got, well, I didn't understand to begin with what he was talking about, but he was talking to me and showing me this thing, and it turned out he was asking me, I think, whether had I got a spare tyre valve, metal tyre valve, and he showed me that that's what he used. He connected his air line from his brake fuses off the tractor unit to the belly tank to pressurise the belly tank to put diesel from the belly tank into his running tank on the tractor unit. Anyway, I couldn't help him because I didn't have such a thing, but I was thinking, I got talking to him, and I asked him where he was going, and he told me he was going to Istanbul. So I said, oh, okay. And I said, with a few hand gestures and one thing or another, trying to make myself understood, I managed to get out of him that he normally took 7 days to get to Istanbul, and I'd been told that I can do it between 3 and 5 days. So I'm thinking, anyway, but the main thing was that I'm looking at this truck, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? If he can do it, this job in that fallen to bits heap of, Turkish Fiat, then I shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. And so I set off. Well, I got loaded, of course, and I had to pick up my running money in Dover. I had to meet another one of Dowfleet's drivers, and so I got my running money, and off we go now. So I'm away, and I got across the channel, and first mistake I made was trying to go round a roundabout the wrong way, but I soon discovered my mistake, and before it was too late, and it was the middle of the night, early hours of the morning, so carried on. Anyway, then I forgot. I missed out the fact of doing the customs in the border in Zeebrugge, or it might have been Ostend, I can't remember now. Anyway, I managed to, by following and, one thing, I managed to get my Tia Carnet and everything stamped up. So I've entered Belgium, and I'm away now. So the next thing is I get to the German border. And there's a great big car park, and this is at Aachen, and there's a great big car park there, and so I parked up. I walked into this office, and I goes to the window, and I sit, and the bloke gives me a bit of paper, and I'd heard about this thing, and it's what they call a Laufzettel, and I had to fill it in and say, there's all sorts of questions on it, how much diesel had I got, and one thing, another, blah blah blah. And I thought I'd filled that in correctly, and I went back to the thingy and the window, and I handed my papers to the window, and the German fella the other side starts calling me Dummkopf, Englander, and Christ knows what else, and that, and he's pointing outside. So I thought, well, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong here? Anyway, I went away, and I stood, and I was reading all the notices and trying to pick out bits of English, and I thought, well, I can't see what the problem is here. I went back again, and I said, and he starts waving his hands, and I think, and he's pointing outside, and what's he like? Anyway, then this Dutch fellow was behind me. He tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Mister, he is trying to tell you that before you can enter the German Republic, you must first exit Belgium." I said, "Oh, right." Okay then. I said, where's that then? He said, "It's the wooden nut in the car park. We have to go there." So that was my first, encounter. And after I exited Belgium and I came back to the window, he sort of looked at me, this German fellow, and he thought, Anyway, I got my papers stamped and off I go. So the next thing is I was exiting Germany to go to Austria, and so I get to the border, and I did the German bit, and I goes now to the Austrians, and there's a bit of a queue, and I thought, well, I don't really know what to do here, but so I started talking like you know, some sort of idiot, and I was going, you want a piece of paper? You like this paper? Which paper you want? What do you need? Because he's looking at my papers and he's sort of indicating to me that he doesn't know what I'm doing there, and I'm thinking, oh dear, what's going wrong here? So I start talking in this stupid voice, saying things like, you like this paper, you want this paper, what paper you like, you know. Anyway, then the next thing, these two Danish fellows start falling about on the floor, laughing their head off, and one of them saying, oh, it's the Benny Hill show. So I impressed the other drivers, but not the customs man. He was not happy. But eventually, with a little help from these two Danes, I got my papers stamped and passport, everything done, and off I go through Austria. So then I get to Yugoslavia, and then something very, very strange happened there. I arrive in the border after exiting the Austrian side. I arrive in the border. It's late early in the morning, maybe 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., something like that. And the Yugoslav customs, they stood higher than you, so they're looking down at you. So they all look like giants, sort of thing. But they are big. And they're all drunk. All the customs behind the lots, all drunk. And aggressive. And not very nice. Didn't appeal, you know, to me. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what kind of an example does it show to anybody entering by road into a country like this, that these people are aggressive, drunk, nasty with it? Anyway, I managed to get my papers done, and I set off. It's dark, and I'm driving down the road, and it's only just single track road, you know, one lane going one way, one lane going the other. And next thing I see, like these flashes of light going across the road, and the next thing there's this old Volkswagen Beetle come off the road in front of me, and now down the embankment into the field, and rolled over and pulled up behind him on the other side of the road and sort of faced me, because I haven't now stopped. And there's a fellow, I think was Dutchman, who stopped behind me. But the guy who was in the ambulance, who must have been driving it, get out. He's all dressed like he's going to a dance or something, all with suit and everything. He run down the embankment, and he dragged the man out of the car and threw him down on the floor. And I'm thinking, what the flipping heck's going on here? Anyway, the fellow behind me, I think was a Dutchman, he shouts to this Yugoslav man from the ambulance. He says, "Es mort." And the Yugoslav says, "Yeah, es mort." Like you nasty, like you know. So this fella says to me, come on, we go. So we went, and I think the man driving the ambulance shot this man in this old car. That was the bullets I seen going across the road. Anyway, then I started to get a bit tired, and I was somewhere around, somewhere between, I stopped at services anyway. I'm making for Hotel National Belgrade. That's where I've been told most English drivers stay, one thing or another. But anyway, I didn't get that far. I stopped at this services. I decided I'm going to sleep. And then there's knocking on the door. And there's this woman shouting, "Hey, English, you fucking. And I look out and there's this woman there and she's, "Oh, mister, you fucking." And I'm thinking, what the bloody hell is she going? I said, "Oh, go away. So she goes away and I go down and say, next thing, 5 minutes later, she's back. Bang, bang, bang. "Come on, mister." You know. So I thought, I can't put up with this. I thought, okay. So I get dressed and I get going, and then I get to, I've found it's not easy to find, but I did find my way. We didn't have any sat-navs then, by the way. I found my way to the Hotel National Belgrade, and I spent the day there getting a bit drunk, one thing or another, and you know, I got talking to some boys, and then I met up with a couple of fellas, couple of, well, you could say likable rogues from driving for a London firm, and we set off to go the rest of the way together, and we got down into Bulgaria, and then we got across. He went through. They were going. We parted company at Niš, because they were going to go via Greece. So I thought, well, you know, I've been told to go to Bulgaria, you see. So anyway, I go into Bulgaria. Exit Yugoslavia was very simple, and to be fair, to enter into Bulgaria was not difficult either. I was getting quite good at this, I thought. Anyway, I get to Turkey now, to Capiculi, or Capiculi, whatever they had to call it, Capiculi, and once again it's late. It's getting late in the night. You know, it's probably about 9 o'clock, and I'm looking around all these windows, and I don't understand what's going on here. I ain't got a clue what to do, but I'm thinking to myself, well, anyway, the next thing, this Turkish fella, driver, will come to me and he say, "Mister," he say, "is it your first time here in Turkey?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Don't worry," he said, I will fix everything for you." And he starts talking to the people behind the counter, and they all smiling at me and one thing and another. And I'll tell you, for all the other times I've been through that border, which is many, many times, I've never been so quick as that night, that first time. Anyway, so now I get out on the road now, and this is before the motorway was built all the way to Istanbul. So you had to go through Edirne. And when you leave the border, there's a dual carriageway. So I'm driving on the dual carriageway, and there's people coming down the side of the dual carriageway which I'm on, this opposite direction to me, and on the other side of the dual carriageway there are people going up and down there, that side. Well, this is some strange kind of dual carriageway, this is. But anyway, so then the dual carriageway finished, and it starts to go into just normal two-track road, you know, one side go that way, one side go the other. So I'm driving along, and next thing, come to like a bit of a rise in the road, and there's a big lay-by on the right, big rough old lay-by. There's a police car in there, and they stopped me. And they start talking away to me, and then I ain't got a clue what they're saying, but they keep making this signal to me, cigarette. So I said, I don't have a cigarette. I said, I smoke my own. I make my own cigarette. Okay. He said, okay, you give me tobacco. So I give him a packet of tobacco. He said, okay, well. So anyway, then I get to I finally get to Istanbul, and I managed to find my way to the Londra camping, and because some of these boys told me, roughly how to negotiate how to get there. So anyway, I got to the Londra camping, and I get inside, and then the man at the gate, he demanded my passport. I'd been told not to give him my passport, so I gave him something, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. It was a international driving permit. I gave him that. That was from the RAC, I think, or AA. Anyway, so then it's now probably about, I don't know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. It's late anyway, so I go to bed. And then in the morning, there's one or two boys in there waking me up and saying, and the next thing we spend the whole day. Most of them, we had to go into town to put our paper into the agent, and they say, well, around about probably this afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning, you will go to the factory to unload the engines, tractor engine, Perkins engines we had. So I go, we have a couple of beers in the restaurant, something to eat, and then the agent come and he say, right, okay. This is after we've been in town to the agent, come back now to the laundry cabinet, and then the agent, he say, okay, we go to unload. So off we go down to Özel, factory Özel, and I witnessed some things on the road to get there, which I found very strange. I saw buses driving on the pavement. I saw people driving the wrong way on the carriageway. I saw all sorts of strange things because the traffic was very busy. And there was honking and hooting all the while we were moving. Anyway, we get to the Özel, and they unload and check it. The customs man is there. So the customs is done in the Özel factory, the goods is unloaded, and that's it, we're free. And I just have to wait for the empty paper. Can't remember exactly whether we got that at the factory or whether they brought it to us in the Londra camp. So then we go back to the Londra camp, and we sit drinking FS until, the early hours of the morning. Although the restaurant is shut about 11:30, maybe midnight, but we bought several crates of FS to keep us going through the night. So that's my experience of my first excursion to Istanbul. And the next episode I will tell you is what happened on the way back. Okay, bye bye for now.